All right, starting the Chapter 7 review. Number 1, we have to write the polynomial in standard form. Okay, so start with the highest exponent, or the term with the highest exponent, and then go in descending order. Okay, now it's in standard form. The degree is the term with the highest exponent, or combination, or the sum of the highest exponents. So here we have 5. Leading coefficient, that's the number in front of the term with the highest exponent, that's 3. Classification, how many terms are there? 1. If there's 1, it's a monomial. If there are 2, it's a binomial. And if there are 3, it's a trinomial. All right, next problem. Find the sum. All right, here we're multiplying by 1. So that doesn't change anything, just drop the parentheses. Here we're multiplying by positive 1. That doesn't change anything, just drop the parentheses. Positive and a negative, that gives you a negative though. Alright, add like terms. We have 4y. I have 8 plus 4, which is 12. Done. Find the difference. Here we're multiplying by 1, so just drop the parentheses. Right here we're distributing negative 1, so we get negative 5y squared plus 7y plus 3. Alright, so we get y squared minus 5y squared, which is negative 4y squared. That's a negative there. And then we have negative 3y plus 7y, which is 4y. And we have 8 plus 3, which is 11. Done with that one. Use the FOIL method to find the product. First, outer, inner, last. All right, we just combine the like terms, and we get, simple as that, done. Use the FOIL method once again. Multiply, we have 15k squared. Then I have plus 30k. I have minus 6k. I have negative 2 times 6, which is negative 12. Alright, so I get 15k squared plus 24k minus 12. Done. Next one. Write a polynomial that represents the area of the shaded region. Okay, to find the area, we have to multiply. So it's x plus 6 times 3x minus 2. First, outer, inner, last. All right, so I end up with 3x squared plus 16x minus 12. Done. Alrighty. Find the product. Alright, this is sort of like a FOIL method, but there's a little more going on. So I have to multiply by x. So I get x cubed. Then I get plus 4x squared. Then I get plus 3x. Now I multiply by 3. So I get plus 3x squared plus 12x plus 9. Alright, so I have x to the third, and then I have plus 7x squared plus 15x plus 9. Done. Find the product. Okay. A lot of students make the mistake of squaring each piece here, and that does not work out. We have to expand it, x minus 6 times x minus 6, because 5 squared is 5 times 5, right? Same thing. So now I FOIL, I get x squared minus 6x plus 36. And now I have x squared minus 12x plus 36. Done. Write the polynomial that represents the area of the square. Okay, these little tick marks mean that all the side lengths are the same. So this is 5 and minus 7 as well. And it's a square, so the side lengths should be the same. So I have 5 minus 7 squared, or I just write 5 minus 7 times 5 minus 7. 5n minus 7. All right, so I have 5n times 5n, which is 25n squared. Then I have minus 35n, minus 35n once again, and I have plus 49. All right, be careful with your positives and negatives. Combining like terms, I have negative 70n and plus 49. Done. Find the product. All right, we're going to FOIL here. We have x squared. Then we have plus 8xy. Be careful with those variables there. Here I have negative 8xy. Then I have negative 64y squared. These cancel out now, and I'm left with x squared minus 64y squared. Done. Solve the equation. Okay, it's already in factored form for us. See how we're multiplying these quantities here? So I set each quantity equal to 0. That's using the zero product property. So I have two equations, and I solve both of them. X equals 0, the x is already isolated. Here I add 6, so x equals 6. So these are my two answers for this problem. Done. Solve the equation. Same deal. I'm multiplying these. I set them both equal to 0. Add 3 here. X is equal to 3. Add 8 here. X is equal to 8. Those are my two answers. Done. Next one, solve the equation. All right, set both of these factors equal to 0. All right, and then I'm going to isolate x for each equation. Here I'm going to subtract 12. 2x equals negative 12. Divide by 2. X is equal to negative 6. All right, there are my two answers. Factor the polynomial. Okay, so first let's look at the 6 and the 42. What's the largest number that goes into 6 and 42? That would be 6. So I'm going to pull out a 6. All right, and I have 2 x's here, and I have 1 x here. What's the most x's I could pull out of each? I can only pull out 1. All right, so 6x times what gives me 6x squared? That's x. 6x times what gives me 42x? That's going to be, 7. Okay, so how do you know if you factored correctly or not? Well, typically you could just distribute or multiply, and it'll take you back to where you started. All right, and then you know you factored correctly. So this is my final answer. I have factored the expression, or factoring means to rewrite as a product, as multiplication. Solve the equation. Okay, in order to solve this, the first thing I need to do is factor this. What can I pull out? I have a 3 and a 1. All right, because I'm working with a 1, I don't really care about the numbers right now. I'm just worried about the variables. I have 2 x's here, I have 1 x here. I'm going to pull out an x. And I'm left with 3x minus 1 equals 0. I set each factor equal to 0. Alrighty, here I'm going to add 1. Then I have 3x is equal to 1, divide by 3. Alright, then I get x is equal to 1/3. So these are my two answers here. That's a comma. X equals 0 and x equals 1/3. Alright, now going into material from previous chapters. All right, working with exponents here. 3 squared is 9. 2 to the negative 1 power. I want to make this positive, so I bring the whole quantity to the top and make the power positive. Here I have a negative power, so I bring the quantity to the bottom, and the power becomes positive. Here I have 0 to the first, or sorry, 0, z to the 0th power, which is 1. And then I have x to the negative third power. I'm going to take this whole quantity, bring it to the top, and the power becomes positive. All right, so now I have 9 times 2, which is 18. Then I have x to the third over y to the fifth. Alrighty. Review from chapter 4, evaluate the function. Okay, they give you a piecewise function here, and here are the restrictions. Now, negative 2, I'm evaluating the function at negative 2. Negative 2 passes which restriction? All right, all values less than negative 3, all values greater than negative 3. All right, so greater than negative 3, negative 2 is greater than negative 3. So you're working with this expression here. So let's plug in negative 2 into it. So it's negative 2 plus 2, and I get 0. All right, chapter 3, graph the linear equation. I'm looking for all x values that are negative 3. That would be right here, and here, and here, and here, and here, and here, 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 here. All right, so all these points on this line. All right, that's all there is to that. Solve this inequality. I need to get rid of the fraction, so I'm going to multiply by 7 on both sides. Don't forget that negative there. Then I'll divide by negative 2. And whenever you divide by a negative, what do you do to that inequality sign? You flip it. And I get negative 14. Done. Chapter 1. Okay, we have an absolute value equation here. So I take the expression and I set it equal to the positive, and I also set it equal to the negative. Okay? So I subtract 3, x is equal to 2. Subtract 3 here, x is equal to negative 8. Those are my two answers. I could plug either of those answers in here, and it will work out to be true. All right, that's it for the Chapter 7 review. If you have any questions, if you need any clarification, please make sure to ask. All right. All right, look over all the review problems again if you need to. Look over the previous chapter tests, okay, and you should be well prepared for the Chapter 7 test.